program here in about 2 minutes. Could I get everybody to take their seats, please? I'd like to have everybody take their seats. Thank you. Welcome. My name is Tom Hager, and I am the head baseball coach and the associate athletic director here at the University of Jamestown. We're very excited to have you all here for this incredible day. You are here for the 2019 University of Jamestown Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Most of us on campus look forward to this day because it gives us a chance to reconnect with former players, athletes, so many people that make a difference here at the University of Jamestown, and we think today is just going to be an incredible day. As a coach here on campus, I often tell my players, this weekend is not about you, it's about the alums. And I'll repeat myself again and say, players, it's not about you. So a couple days ago, as an alum, but also as a coach, I walked into the batting cage and asked some of my guys, can you feed me a few here? I'd like to take a couple swings. And they said, yeah, coach, because it's all about you, right? So after 20 years of being here, I think they finally get it. To begin this special day, I'd like to welcome our director of our booster club, Mr. Jim Kleeman.
Thank you, Coach, and again, welcome on behalf of the Jimmie Booster Club. You are now part of the largest celebration that we've ever had to celebrate an Athletic Hall of Fame class. 404 individuals in this room right now. I have the distinct pleasure of welcoming our first individual inductee in today's Hall of Fame, Jake Holland, one of the most prolific scorers to wear a Jimmie basketball uniform. Jake shot his way into the record books during his UJ career. The Lemoore, North Dakota native was a leader on and off the floor during his 4 years on campus. At the time of his graduation, Jake ranked first in points in a single season, third in total points, first in season three-point percentage, first in career free throws. His 40-point game versus Minot State in 2007-2008 is third best all time. Holland's single-season scoring record of 687 points in 2007-2008 remains still the best by any Jimmie. Jake was twice named DAC All-Conference, was the 2007-2008 DAC Most Valuable Player, and a third-team NAI All-American selection. Jake was a member of the 2007-2008 Jimmie team that captured the DAC regular season title and qualified for the NAI National Tournament. Teammate Tom Bachmeyer in his nomination of Jake writes, all of his accolades aside, Jake brought a fun attitude and a sense of humor to practice, film sessions, and games. Jake loved the game, and it was evident when you watched him play. Jake is an educator and resides in Sioux Falls with his wife Ashley and their children James, John, Will, and Calvin. Please join me in welcoming Hall of Famer Jake Holland.
Thank you very much. What a beautiful arena. Thanks for all the hard work, people, getting this ready. It's such a treat to be here. I want to say congratulations to all the other inductees. Julie, I still remember my coaches. I think they were pretty close to recruiting you to play for the men's team as well. You were amazing. This is such an honor. I want to say thank you to the Hall of Fame Committee and thank you to the University of Jamestown. I love this place. It's been a big part of my family, as many of you know. My older brother Anthony paved the way on the way to Jamestown, spent some time on the basketball team, and he married a University of Jamestown alum, Alicia. And my sister Rachel actually followed me here. And the only reason she transferred was because she wanted to be closer to her future husband. My younger brother Ben and his fiancee Josie are alum. Sarah Holen, my younger sister, was a part of the choir here at Jamestown, graduated a few years back. Now my sister Anna plays volleyball, and there she is, interrupting my speech. My younger sister Ellie, on the 2nd of October, on her birthday, decided to sign her letter of intent to come here. My oldest sister, Jess, the only sibling in my entire family not to go to college. She married a Navy sailor, so she had to leave state right out of high school. She did not attend here, but she did make sure to send her oldest son, Joseph, who's a freshman here at Jamestown. And I even named my oldest son James after this place. That's a joke, James. Mom wouldn't let me name you LeBron. That was my first choice. It means a lot to me that my 4 boys are here. A lot of people say to me, you have 4 boys, one more and you have a basketball team. And I was like, no, you're wrong. Now I have a basketball team. I have 4 guys that pass me the ball. And where's Iverson? I'm sure Iverson's rolling his eyes right now because he knows I'm serious about that. Also, one more little joke for you. Of all the percentages, the free throw, the 3-point percentage record I had 4 boys in 3 attempts. Kellen Bubak, do the percentage math on that, buddy. That's like 133%. I have a long list of thank yous. My mom and my dad. All right. I get like Trumbar to yell at me or something. My mom and my dad. My mom has an over-exaggerated confidence in me. You'd think she would. She still asks me, hey, you should try out for the G League team down there in Sioux Falls. I think you can make it. I'm like, Mom, I'm 34 and I'm like 180 pounds. My dad kept me grounded all my life. He told me that you got to work hard on the days that you don't feel like working hard. My older brother, Anthony, he took me to open gyms even though he didn't want to, and allowed me to play with him and his brothers. He taught me patience, and just the pride he showed in me meant a lot. My younger brother, Ben, I don't know where to start with Ben. All the one-on-one games I played with Ben, working on my weaknesses. It couldn't have been easy. You would have thought that I was playing against Michael Jordan. I was 4 years older than Ben, and I was 50 pounds heavier, and I was going as hard as I could on him, and he would get back up and keep playing. My 5 sisters, Jess, Rach, Sarah, Anna, and Ellie, just for the support through all the years. My extended family, I have a huge extended family, and a lot of them are here today. It means so much to me. My wife, Ashley. Just for all the support. We got married on campus here, and she graduated from here, and it was really easy to play basketball. just having her, my best friend. Now I can stop crying because I'm going to talk about coaches now. Coaches, Jeff Trumbar, Matt Severide, they were just the player development skills they showed us. I just remember coming to college and being like, I knew nothing about the game until I taught and learned it from them. Brett Fieldgis, my buddy, my brother, for all the support he offered. All the selfless teammates I had, Jason Bitts, Tom Bachmeyer, Andy Bachmeyer, John Peabody, Ross Forthog, Evan Savjo, Mike Perez, and then there's three guys, excuse me. When I think back about my career here, they're in every memory. Jordan Olson, Kellen Bubak, and Kyle Iverson. They're like brothers. My career here wouldn't be possible without them, and specifically Kyle Iverson, because he exploded at the end of his freshman year, and a lot of attention went to him. And I know going into my senior year, and I knew this, that he would be the main focus for a lot of teams' scouting report. When you have a post player that's that athletic, not a 2 or 3 time All-American honorable mention, you're going to get a lot of the attention. And I knew, and Kellen Bubak and Jordan Olson, and I knew that we had roles to fill, and if we did it well, we were going to get our chances. And the ball started going in, and fortunately it never really stopped for us. So thank you three guys. I got a message for the student athletes that are here, and I said this to you guys in the locker room. Where's the basketball team at? Are you guys all back there? You got to be willing to accept your role. Every single year I was at Jamestown, my role changed. And sometimes you go through seasons where you want to have a better role. But don't buy into that. Literally every role matters. Whether you're the GA, whether you're the equipment manager, every role matters just as much as the next. And I wouldn't be standing here today if I didn't accept my role each year, or if I didn't have selfless teammates accept theirs. In closing here, thanks for sticking with me here. My career is a reflection of the love and support of so many people. When I go into the hall, I hope that you feel like you're here. You feel like you're going in with me. Because I couldn't have done it alone. So thank you. Thank you, University of Jamestown, and God bless.
Next up, we would like to recognize Julie Veriano Houchin, a 2-sport star for the Jimmies in basketball and track. Julie Veriano left her mark on the University of Jamestown record books. On the hardwood, the Fargo, North Dakota native helped guide some of the best women's basketball teams in UJ history. Julie's 1,443 career points ranked 3rd all-time, and her 552 points in 2007-2008 was the 4th best by any Jimmie women's basketball player in history. Her Her 36 points versus the University of Winnipeg, where she connected on 17 field goals, is tied for second all time. On the defensive end, Julie left UJ as the all-time leader in season 84 and career 247 steals, and ranked fourth in career rebounds with 661. In only 2 years as a track athlete, Julie qualified twice for the NAI Outdoor Nationals in the 400-meter hurdles, the 4x100-meter relay, and the 4x400-meter relay. Her 63.88 in the 400-meter hurdles is still fourth best all time. She is also a member of the school record-holding 4x200-meter relay team. Julie was a three-time DAC All-Conference performer. Twice was the DAC Conference Defensive Player of the Year, and was a two-time NAI Honorable Mention All-American. Veriano was part of 69 career team wins, the 2009-2010 DAC Conference Tournament Championship team, and also back-to-back trips to the NAI National Tournament. Academically, Julie was a four-time DAC Scholar Athlete and a 2009-2010 NAI Daktronics Scholar Athlete. Head coach Mark Wiest, in his nomination of Julie, writes, "Julie was the ultimate competitor, as she always brought max effort and intensity to everything she did. Without a doubt, she was the best athlete I had a privilege of coaching." Julie is a nurse and resides in Anchorage, Alaska with her husband Kirby and their three children. Please welcome to the stage, Julie Veriano Houchin.
Good morning, everyone. Super excited to be here. Kirby and I moved to Alaska right after college, and this is our first time back for homecoming. When Coach Wiest called me, I think it was in June, to let me know about the induction ceremony, the first thing I was like, oh my gosh, I want to see all my girls back in Jamestown. We're just going to live it up for the weekend, and we definitely started that last night. I was looking at my clock at 1 a.m. when I was talking to my sister, and 3 hours later here, so I wasn't that tired, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get up in 7 hours and get all these kids ready to this breakfast ceremony, but made it real easy, eased in, ate some good breakfast, and it's just awesome to be here in this new arena. I wish I had 1 year of eligibility left to play here. Looking at it, though, I'm thinking like, oh, I'm glad most of our practices were in the Hansen Center, and all the conditioning we had to do much easier there than on this long court. I guess I just want to start by thanking Coach Wiest for sure for the nomination, and basically for being the reason I came to Jamestown. My senior year in high school, I was just juggling so many things. My pa wanting me to go to Notre Dame. Definitely sent an application there with a nice letter of recommendation from the bishop of the diocese that he got for me. So, applied to CU Boulder, all those things, and really the push was from Coach Wiest with his very persistent recruiting of me since, junior in college or in high school, and the letters and the phone calls. And finally, I think it was after our conference tournament, and he showed up there and just kind of sealed the deal for me. Like, all right, I'm going to go to Jamestown, be close to my family. They're able to come to my games, and it was just an experience for the 5 years that I spent at Jamestown. Best 5 years of my life by far. I got these kids now, but it was just a great time being here, and being a college athlete is super rewarding and also the most challenging time, being a nursing student and, for 2 years I did track and then basketball, and it was just nonstop, working hard, but I always found the time to hang out on the weekend with my friends and, just live it up, and just a great time. I just think of all these things in my head, and I could sit up here and talk for an hour, but I'll try not to do that. Again, back to Coach Weiss, we met my mom and me, Coach Weiss, Coach Clark, at Doolittle's in Fargo, and my mom was just like over the moon. She's like, oh my gosh, what a nice guy. He's just awesome. He's going to take such good care of you. And I think it was the first week of practice when I got my first butt chewing by Coach Weiss. And I called my mom, and she's like, I can't believe it. I can't believe he would yell at you like that. I'm like, well, that's what my whole life is, being yelled at by coaches. It was nothing new for me, but I think I was probably Coach Weiss, the player that could turn his face, 50 shades of red in about 5 minutes. I don't want to say I was uncoachable, but at times I think he said it too, that I thought I knew everything about basketball. And it was just constant support from him, and I'd be in a game and do something wrong, and I'd be so mad at myself. And, most of the time he'd build me back up, but sometimes it was him not even looking at me when I came off the floor, and Coach Horning would be there to be like, it's okay, we'll get you back out there in about 5 minutes. So besides Coach Weiss, definitely wanted to thank Coach Horning for, the 5 years that I was there. The 1 year where I sat on the bench after a knee injury, hardest year of my life to watch those girls go to nationals. That's the only time I might cry without me, but anyway, those 5 years and those two coaches, just awesome, the support, and we're just like a big family. One of my favorite memories is Coach Horning driving the Jimmie bus. We called it, the Jimmie mover. And we're in Minnesota, big snowstorm, and he gets that bus stuck in the snow. And our whole team is out there, pushing the bus, trying to get out of the snow. And it just, solidified us as a team, a unit, and just how we can get out of, situations like that. I definitely want to thank my parents for cultivating this career into sports. My pa, I don't know how many miles got put on his Cadillac, just traveling all over the Midwest, watching our games. He was a staple up there at the Civic Center, sitting up there watching. We'd always go out to eat after games, games that we won. I had to call him after games we lost because he would just book out of here. He didn't want to talk to me. And so I would call him before the game. I'm like, hey, if we lose, can you hang around? I'd still like to see you even after we lose. Even though I did have a bad attitude most of the time. But definitely want to thank my sister Rita. She came up from Alabama to be here. She lived with me in Jamestown and was kind of my support system, mostly financially. She was working while I was at school and playing ball, doing track, and just a great support system for me. My sister Carmela, she came up from South Dakota with her kids, so super glad that she's here. My husband Kirby and my kids, they're awesome to be here. Kelby and my sister Luca. Just a great support system. I got this whole table here, and it just makes me feel really good that I've got people that want to be here and support me even 10 years after, being out of college. Jamestown College was just awesome. I didn't even know there was a college here till my senior year, and I ran track meets here all the time. But just being here and being in this community, the alumni, everything has just been awesome. And, I still get the emails and see what's going on with the college and watching this place grow. And I think even when I see athletes from Alaska coming down to go here, it just makes me feel real good that this college has, grown into a university and just kind of a staple here in the Midwest now. I just want to thank my team again, because what a great time we had those 4 or 5 years that I was here, and I give it all to them really, because I think Amanda Randapaugh said it best one time, because after the Black Hills game we won, and I was just running the baseline pretty much the whole game. That was the offense that we had set up against their defense, and we ended up winning that game. And after the game I went to Ranny, And I was like, really, gosh, I wish I could give you half my points. And she's like, dude, your points are my points. And, you know, that just speaks to our team, that we're just a unit, and my points are just the team's points. So when I look at those career points, I'm like, you know, that's all fine and dandy, but it only means something if your team was a winning team, if you got more, you know, wins in the win column than the lose column. So I think that's really all I got to say right now. I might see you guys in a few minutes when we get to the team induction, but thank you all for being here. Hopefully we just have a great weekend. I know it's a little rainy and cold, but maybe see you guys out at the football game. Thanks again.
Before we bring our next guest up, Tom Iverson, I'd just like to say, as the assistant athletic director and the head baseball coach for the last 20 years, I've had the privilege of being around all three of these people, Jake, Julie, and Tom, and we talk a lot about doing things right on and off the field here at the University of Jamestown, and I'm telling you, I've watched all three of these people. They did it right on and off the field, and I'd take any of you three on my team. The next member that we would like to recognize is Tom Iverson. Tom is a native of Oaks, North Dakota. Tom Iverson's career on and off the wrestling mat left a lasting impact on the Jimmie wrestling program. Tom was a four-time qualifier for the NAI National Wrestling Tournament, twice taking home All-American status in 2002 and 2003 at 157. Off the mat, Iverson excelled in the classroom, being named a DAC Scholar Athlete all 4 years, and twice being named NAI Dactronic Scholar Athlete. This leadership led to Tom being named team captain of the Jimmies in 2003 and 2004. In September of 2014, Tom was also recognized by the University of Jamestown with the Young Alumni Medallion Award. In his nomination of Tom, teammate Jake Esser states, Tom's accolades speak for themselves by being a multi-time All-American and academic All-American. What was more impressive was Tom's dedication, drive, work ethic, and commitment in the classroom. While leading the rest of his team, he helped us improve on the mat and off the mat. He provided us with the best example of how to succeed in school, athletics, and to be a positive contributor to the community. Tom is a major in the North Dakota Highway Patrol and resides in Bismarck with his wife and their 2 children, Grady and Reese. Let's welcome to the stage the next member of the Jimmie Athletic Hall of Fame, Tom Iverson.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Before I share a couple quick stories, I kind of wanted to maybe have a word with whoever set up this event at 9 o'clock in the morning after going 15 years without seeing some of your college buddies. 9 o'clock in the morning is quite early to drag these guys out of bed, so I appreciate them being here. I am honored to be standing here in front of you this morning. Back in 1999, I began receiving phone calls at my hometown down in Oaks from wrestling coach Jason McLeod. This guy was relentless. He talked this college up one side and down the other. I believed all the great things he was saying, so I decided to take that chance, and I'll be forever grateful for coming here to Jamestown. I started my freshman year in August of 2000. Started wrestling practice the absolute first day of moving into our dorms. We haven't even started school yet. We started wrestling practice right away that first day. After 4 years of wrestling, countless hours of practicing and studying, I eventually received my Bachelor of Arts degree in criminal justice, forged lifelong bonds with friends that I'll always cherish, and walked away knowing I gave it my best. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Marissa, whom I met here at this college, and we have 2 wonderful kids, Grady and Reese. I'm fortunate throughout my career here at Jamestown. I was surrounded by people who believed in me. My coaches, my teammates, my family and my friends, my instructors, they all believed in me, even at times when I didn't believe in myself. This award, this honor today, this is due all to them. The sacrifices were 3 for 3 for getting choked up. The sacrifices others have made to allow me the chance to stand up here, the ability to stand up here, is more about who I was surrounded by and who I was supported by than it was about my success on or off the mat. My family, friends, coaches, my teammates, you were all there for me and you all believed in me. If I haven't told you this before, I apologize, but thank you. Thank you for support. Thank you for your guidance. And thank you for being there by my side. There's no way I'd be here today if it weren't be for you. We worked our butts off in the basement of that Hansen Center. Early morning workouts, weekend runs around the reservoir, and hundreds of hours in that damn dingy basement. Dumping freezing water on the hill behind Sorkness, thinking that we could get out of a workout by putting ice on the hill. It didn't work so well. The weekend road trip up to Winnipeg. The get-together at Josh Rood's apartment. Eric Grun's trailer house. The head-shaving incident. Hundreds of hours cramped in that crappy white van. See, the basketball team, they got to take what I thought was a pretty cool people mover. We had to take an old white van, but we were proud of that van. Midnight runs down to Taco Bell, streaking through Cruzy. I did have a Speedo on though. The band that we had in the attic of the house that we rented. Starving our butts off while McLeod is sitting there eating a pizza in front of us. The injuries, the wins and losses, and sorry Jimmie Wagstaff, but and even waxing our armpits. I wouldn't trade that experience for the world. There are countless lessons I learned at my time here in Jamestown. However, one of them stands out among the rest. There's a quote hanging in the Hansen Center. I don't know if it's still there. It was attributed to the late, great Raleigh Greeno. And it read, "The harder you work, the luckier you get." I read that quote many times while going into practice there, and I absolutely love that quote. I've been in an argument defending its premise. Should you rely on luck to get you where you want to be? Absolutely not. But sometimes things just happen that are a little bit out of your control, and it's comforting knowing that you are able to give it your best. I was never the strongest wrestler, not even close. I was definitely never the fastest one. However, one thing that I could control was giving it my best. Hard work. That was something I believed in, something that I could control. Several months ago, I mistakenly received an email from one of my teammates, Bryce Villa. The email was addressed to several University of Jamestown wrestling alumni, and the final paragraph read, "Also, for those of you who wrestled with Tom Iverson, we're working towards his induction into the Hall of Fame. Keep your ear to the mat on this one." To this day, I don't know if Bryce realizes that he included me in on that email. And Nevertheless, I remember thinking to myself, what the heck is this about? Is this about me? I immediately handed my phone to my wife, and I repeated that question out loud to her, and she responded, you what now? You see, one of the first things that you learn in interview and interrogation training is that oftentimes deceptive people will respond with a question when they're asked a question. So she was clearly being deceptive. I immediately knew she was involved. But to Jake Esther, let that be the only time that you conspire with my wife behind my back. After graduating from college in 2004, I was hired by the North Dakota Highway Patrol, and I began my career in Bismarck. After working the road for several years, I was fortunate enough to rise to the ranks to major. I'm proud to serve the Highway Patrol as our Chief of Operations. Having the background in wrestling has served me well throughout my career. The mental toughness and determination that you learn throughout wrestling carries you throughout your career. In closing, I would like to thank my friends and teammates for nominating me to receive this honor. The fact that you guys thought I was deserving of this honor is absolutely humbling. Whether I was chosen to receive it or not, just knowing that you guys thought I was worthy of this means the world to me, so I appreciate it. Thank you to Jim Kleeman and those on the Jimmie Booster Club for accepting me into the Hall of Fame. Thank you to Coach Jason McLeod, Coach Roger Fisher, for always believing in me and always giving me that much needed encouragement. Thank you to my friends, my family, and my Jimmie wrestling teammates for being here today. To those that traveled long distances to be here, I'm grateful to have you here. I'm a very lucky man who is surrounded by very great people. Thank you, and go Jimmies.
We will now move to the team portion of the program, and our first team being inducted into the 2019 Jimmie Athletic Hall of Fame is the 1975 Jimmie football team. One of the most dominant teams in the history of University of Jamestown football, the 1975 Jimmies rewrote the record books and brought Jimmie football to a new level. Under the leadership of legendary head coach Raleigh Greeno, the 1975 team outscored their opponents by 184 points on their way to an 8-1 record and the 1975 NDCAC co-championship. The Jimmie squad ran 672 plays on their way to covering 3,245 yards and scoring 37 touchdowns, 1 field goal, and 2 safeties. The dynamic defense intercepted 19 passes and recovered 11 fumbles as they held their opponents to only 74 points for the season, the lowest allowed in Coach Greeno's tenure. The Jimmies finished 11th in the final NAI Division II national poll, the highest ranking by any Jimmie team at that time. The team was led by all-conference performers Kevin Heyer, Greg Greeno, Bob Shannon, Brent Tischer, Mark Peterson, Barry Tassa, Bruce Belzer, and Doug Wall. Kevin Heyer, Greg Greeno, and Bob Shannon each earned NAI All-American status. The roster featured 4 individuals that are currently Athletic Hall of Famers: Raleigh Greeno Jr., Greg Greeno, Brent Tischer, and Mark Peterson, and 9 Raleigh Greeno Award winners, including Raleigh Greeno Jr., Greg Greeno, Jim Hausler, Kevin Heyer, Bill Knoll, Lori Paulson, Bob Toombs, Joel Zinker, and John Schaefer. Would all the members of the 1975 Jimmie football team please stand to be recognized? representing the 1975 Jimmie football team, Dennis Brennan.
Jim Kleeman is a partner for all of this stuff, and he has been a great partner for us. So, Jim, thank you very much for everything you've done for the, our team and the Booster Club along the way. It's crazy being in here. This is the house of the GPAC champion basketball team. Danny Neville, you and your team, great representation, buddy. Congratulations. So, good morning, Jimmies. How y'all doing? Congratulations to the honorees that have already presented. I'm going to try not to make it 4 in a row with the tears and stuff because, it is emotional being up here, and it is a great honor to represent the 1975 NDCAC co-champion Jimmie football team. And it is not one person. We all know that it's a team. It is a team. And we pulled together one heck of a season. And it was a blast, I guess is the best way I'll put it. Last night, to your point, getting up at 9 o'clock after trying to catch up with all the stories and everything else and meeting people like, who are you again? Because we've changed just a little bit. If you look at these pictures up here, I'm up there in 83 and I used to have a big afro. It fell out, just so you know. I'd like to begin my formal remarks by first thanking the Lord for the University of Jamestown. This place has meant a lot to a lot of us. And then to the University and Booster Club leadership, thank you for reading the nomination and accepting it. That's the first stop along the way. It's been amazing how the last 44 years just kind of disappeared in a heartbeat, and we all became young again. We're ready to get out on the field, play the game, at least in our mind. Our bodies won't let us do that anymore. Because it was fun trying to jog out to talk to the football players yesterday as Coach Mistro invited us to come share some of our thoughts. I'd also like to acknowledge the family members here. Anchorage, Alaska, just a short trip, coming in here. We've got a teammate, Dale Normandin, who's also out there. His wife is ill and he couldn't make it. But I talked to him and he sends his regards to the team. It is fun when you have family members who have shared the stories of our past glory. I know my wife and my 2 daughters have put up with, I guess I'll put it. Really listened to many of my stories from the glory days. And I'm sure, we all had a blast, and our kids, you did what? You went where? That type of stuff. Because I was from Falls Church, Virginia when I came. And there were a lot of East Coast folks back in the day that came, and now a lot of West folks, come here. But this is it's a nice center point up in North Dakota, which is a fun place to be. But enough of this 5-4 crap. That's what Coach Greeno put at the bottom of a note that he wrote to me in July 1975. See, my first 3 seasons, we were 5-4. And Coach just, enough of it. We got to do something. We got to pull ourselves together to have a great season because he, as you all know, was a championship coach. And we hadn't lived up to that standard. And he underlined crap 3 times, which is, that's Coach. But 44 years ago on this Saturday, we were getting ready to play Minot State. And we were 2-1 at the time, having lost last weekend to some school down the road just a little bit by 4 points. I'll say we were ticked because that's, I think, the word I can use in a crowd. But we needed to get motivated on a team that was favored to beat us. The game went into the first ever overtime played in Jamestown. And when Bob Shannon caught a 10-yard pass from Raleigh Jr. in the end zone, the final score of that game was 21-14. And I think the paper said Greeno called it from the tower, something like that, because some of you don't know he used to have a tower that he stood in, but that's a whole different story. It was, though, Coach's 60th win in his career at that point. We held our next two opponents, Mayville and Wahpeton, to scoreless, and we brought a 5-1 record into our game with Dickinson. And we were up against a 5-0 team that was ranked 6th in the country. And we needed to beat them to win a co-share of the championship. No pressure, none at all. Okay. Well, at the end of the third quarter, the score was 13-6, Dickinson. The only touchdown that had been scored was Lori Paulson recovering a fumble in the end zone. At the beginning of the fourth quarter, we were 4th and 1 at the Dickinson 17-yard line. 8 seconds in, quarterback Steve Bryce called a run-pass option. And he threw a pass to the left side of the back end zone, and I was able to catch it, laid out half in, half out on the back line. And when Mick Burns kicked the extra point, the score was tied 13-13. From there, our defense just became a stone wall. They held Dickinson down. We were intercepting passes left and right. I think Greg Reno got a couple. I think Barry Tassa got one. And that bullnose of a fullback, Greg Hawks, who doesn't have his cowboy hat on right now, but you'll see him when he stands up. Yeah, he's going to put it on right now. Greg Hawks scored 2 touchdowns. And we went on to win 26-13 for a share of the conference title. And it was Coach Greeno's 6th conference title at the time. Now, he went on to win 2 more conference titles. And we ended up holding our last 2 opponents to only 3 points for an 8-1 overall record, as Jim has already related. The 75 football team is the 8th team of Coach Greeno's 8 teams to win conference championships, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame here. And it is truly an honor. So with coaches Raleigh Greeno, Byron Hill, Dennis Van Berkom, our grad assistant Dan Imdyke, call him Biggie on the side, but that's a whole different conversation. Managers Greg Reed, Brian Linsmeyer, and our trainer, Ed Nagel, who kept us all taped up. The 63 members of the team are now a formal part of the Athletic Hall of Fame here at the University of Jamestown. So on behalf of my teammates, thank you for this honor, and go Jimmies.
The 2009-2010 Jimmie women's basketball team. The 2009-2010 Jimmie women's basketball team set the benchmark for Jimmie teams of the future. Under the direction of head coach Mark Wiest and assistant coach Dan Horning, the Jimmies began the season ranked number 6 in the NAIA and would go on to finish the regular season with a record of 22-6. In the DAC Conference Tournament, the Jimmies defeated number 4 nationally ranked Black Hill State 65-64 to win their first DAC Conference Tournament championship in program history. With the victories, the Jimmies gained their 25th win of the season and an automatic bid to the NAIA National Tournament in Sioux City, Iowa. The Jimmies eventually were awarded a number 2 seed heading into the national tournament, with their opponent being the 23-win Indiana Southwest. Jamestown battled to a 65-58 win, which was their first ever at the national tournament, along with win number 26, which set a new program record for wins in a single season. Led by University of Jamestown Athletic Hall of Famer Julie Variano, she would go on to receive All-Conference and NAIA All-American an honorable mention, while guard Katie O'Neill was named DAC All-Conference. Would all members of the 2009-2010 Jimmie women's basketball team please stand to be recognized? Representing the 2009-2010 Jimmies, head coach Mark Wiest and Amanda Olson.
Good morning. As Jim was reading that, I was getting goosebumps, and with that voice, Jim, you should be on ESPN or those old football shows or the old NFL films as they're talking about the days in the tundra and things like that. That's a great voice, Jim. But thanks. If we would have coached here, Dan, in this facility, instead of winning 100 and some games in 6 years, we would have won 200. This place is absolutely beautiful. And for the current basketball teams and volleyball teams that probably didn't have the privilege, we would practice with 30 kids typically, usually in the Hansen Center, with 2 baskets. And then we get lucky sometimes, and we could actually go down to the Jamestown Civic Center if there wasn't a rodeo or a car show or a craft show, and practice at the Civic Center with 2 baskets. So we had to be pretty creative in doing that. We could have used the YMCA right behind us. There were 6 baskets in there, but we couldn't get in there either because Coach Hager was typically having baseball practice already in the winter. So you can see where we were at. If I was a betting man today, I would have won a lot of money because I know if I would have bet on who would have cried the most during their talks and who would have cried the least, my money would have been on Julie crying the least, and I would have won a lot of money today. Just that's not a knock against Tom or Jake. Julie was just one tough sucker. That's the word I'll use. Keep it clean today. And Julie, you were never uncoachable. You might have had a little streak of a stubbornness in you, kind of stubborn. But the bottom line was Julie was, like I said, an ultimate competitor, and she just wanted to win. And whatever it took, that's what she was going to do. And we had a few bouts at times, you would say, but she was great, the coach. And, she talked about the recruiting. I spent a lot of time recruiting Julie, as I did a lot of all the girls on our team. But I started making contact with Julie for quite some time, and a lot of phone calls, a lot of letters. There was no using this and texting and things like that. I got to keep this here so I don't go too long because I've got Darren Peterson, Bob Piatz, and Jason Ditz looking at me and already going like this. But, there was a lot of just constant contact, and I loved doing that. Dan and I would sit in our offices, and we would, usually on a Monday and a Wednesday, and on a Monday we would talk about, Dan, you're going to call these girls tonight, I'm going to call these girls tonight, and then we do the same thing on a Wednesday. So we tried to keep a lot of contact with our girls. But Julie, I talked, sometimes I'd get lucky and I could reach her. Other times I wouldn't be so lucky and reach her. I tried everything. And actually, we hit a point probably in January, February, where I hadn't spoken with Julie for a little while, and I remember telling Dan, I don't know, I think we're not going to get her. I think she's got some other ideas, and we got her. She was just such a great athlete. So we went to the Eastern Conference basketball tournament probably in, I suppose, February, and we're watching the whole tournament and watched Julie play. And I'm sitting in the Fargo Civic Center, and out of the blue, Julie comes and she just sits down beside me. And a little bit of a shock, I go, oh, hi, Julie. Hi, Coach. And we chat for a few minutes, and Julie goes, oh, by the way, Coach, I think I'm going to come to Jamestown. And that was basically how she committed to us, and it was a great time. And Julie then strolls in the campus to start school her freshman year, driving probably, I'm going to say about a 1999 four-door black Cadillac. Not many college students showed up on campus in black Cadillacs. And on top of that, her license plate read Stallion. And I knew right there I liked it. I thought, this is what we want. And she was bringing a little attitude, and that's what we were hoping to get. So she did upgrade from that black Cadillac eventually to, I believe, about a 2005 beautiful white Escalade. And she did keep the same license plate that still read Stallion. And so that was our story with Julie. She was great. But congratulations, Jake, Julie, Tom, football team, 75 football team. I also had the privilege of watching Jake and had a great seat for 4 years as I watched him compete. And yeah, it was fun. Your whole team was fun, a lot of fun to watch. And the two teams traveled together during our conference season, so we spent a lot of time together, both teams, the coaches, we talked a lot, so we really enjoyed that time. Thanks to the loyal Jimmie supporters for being here, UJ administration, the alumni department, Jim, Dan Horning. It's great that you guys do this every year, and you do a heck of a job with it. UJ continues to be very special for myself, my family, who's here with me, my wife, Krisha. Krisha and I are both graduates of UJ. My son, Trey, is a freshman here at UJ, and he's absolutely loving it. He's just, everything about it has been a great fit for him. And I have another son, Jackson, who's a senior at Mandan High School. He is considering the University of Jamestown, so we'll see if that works out for him. And I have a daughter, Jaden, who's an 8th grader, so she's got a few years to make a decision. But right now she says she is going to Arizona for college. So we'll see if that works out for her. For those of you who had the privilege and the opportunity of watching this team play, it was easy to know and see why they were successful on and off the court. They were just a great bunch. As a coach, you wait for teams like this, and every once in a while you get lucky. And we had a tremendous run with this group of kids. And it wasn't just as basketball players. These kids were, as Julie talked about, nursing. She was a nursing major. We had biology majors. We had pre-optometry majors. We had pre-med majors. We had elementary and secondary education majors. Accounting, business, exercise science, health and fitness administration, psychology, occupational. We had girls that got after it in the classroom and are all being very successful right now. And that honestly probably meant more to me than what we accomplished on the court at many times. Very impressive. We had DAC scholars, NAI academic All-Americans, all-conference performers, all-American performers. 10 of these girls that were on that team are currently in the top 60 in UJ scoring history. That says a lot also. So pretty impressive numbers from that group of ladies. And the night our last year in 2009, 2010, we beat 7 ranked opponents during the course of the season. We really had what I would call a signature win. Early in the years, we beat Northwestern Iowa, who at the time was number 2 in the country, and they would eventually be the national champions, but we ended up beating them by almost 20 points at the Civic Center. One of our most impressive signature wins. We beat them 80-63. It was just an incredible night, incredible season. We started the season ranked 6 in the country. We went as high as 5. At the end of the season, the DAC was a brutal conference. Tough games every single night. We ended up with 3 teams ranked in the top 25 at the end of the season ourselves, Black Hill State and Minot State. And From 2008 to 2010, we won 46 games, and we kind of ended that with the win at Black Hills State it was actually the last DAC conference tournament because the DAC was dissolving after that season. But we went down with Spearfish and played a team that we knew awfully well, and we'd had so many ultra-competitive games with, and we found a way to win 65-64, ending their 14-game win streak, and plus beating them on their court. And on that same night, our men won the DAC championship tournament back in Jamestown at the Civic Center. And so it was a pretty neat night, having both teams win on the same night, even though we were a few hours away. But it was just, I still get, as I'm talking about that last game, goosebumps and how the night unfolded. After we won, of course, we're going crazy, celebrating. And I brought this with. I don't know if I should have ever had given this to the college, but I kept the nets from that night, and I have kept them in a very safe spot. And we wanted to cut these babies down so bad, and boy, we had to do a little begging to get anybody to get us a ladder at Spearfish. They were not expecting that to happen, and so they finally reluctantly brought a ladder out on the court for us. And so we accomplished our first goal. We needed a ladder. Our second goal, now we needed a scissor. And well, fate has it, Rory Rantapa had gone out earlier in the day, and just pre-planning, he bought a scissor. And as we're standing on the floor, Rory, out of his back pocket, pulls out a scissor. He goes, "Is this what you're looking for, Coach?" So Rory saved the day and had a scissor, and the nets started to come down, and the celebration continued. And you can, might be the next picture, where we're taking the picture and we're all celebrating. And so then we're ready to go home, got to get back to Jamestown because that's what you do. And we walk outside of the Black Hills Arena, and it's foggy. It is extremely foggy. So foggy you couldn't see across the parking lot. And as we know, Dan, Coach Horning, my assistant, was our bus driver, and we had a people mover. And so I visited with Dan, and I said, "I don't think we can drive back. This is a long drive, and it sounds like fog the entire way." And I think Dan made some reference of, "Well, Mark, I don't know if Tom Heck would approve this." I don't think Tom is here, but those of you who know Tom, that was Dan's worry, and I don't think I can repeat what I said back to Dan, but I basically said, "F that, we're staying." And so we stayed in Spearfish, and we had a heck of a night. We celebrated and got back in the bus early in the morning, and I don't think Tom Heck said anything when I turned in the hotel receipts from one extra night in Spearfish. I think everything was fine. But Dan, I do want to thank my assistant coach, Dan. Dan, can you stand up for a minute here? Can you you got to stand up, everybody. Give Dan a quick round of applause. Dan was just great to work with, the best guy you could have on the bench beside you. And as I would sometimes had a tendency, I could get after the girls pretty good. But Dan always found a way to make sure they were taken care of, and I think explained to a lot of them that Mark does care about you. He's just pushing you, and he wants the best out of you. And he did a really good job of getting the girls to see that. But Dan, you also assisted with Greg Eulin, and then you went up to the high school for a few years, but we celebrated some great wins together. There were times you had to maybe talk me off the cliff after some tough losses, but you kept me balanced. You wouldn't let me get too high, wouldn't let me get too low. And really good at calming me down. Some of those walks in the Civic Center at halftime, if things weren't going very well, Dan was really good at kind of putting me through a halftime speech routine. And Mark, what are you going to say to the girls? Do you think that's a good idea to say that right now? And so he would give me probably make some better decisions at times. And, take a deep breath. Are you okay? What are you going to say? And then we go in the locker room. Usually things would be okay. Not always. So, Dan's favorite line to the girls, the sun will come up tomorrow. He was really good at saying that. Things didn't go so well. Dan would always remind us that's just the game. So that was really impressive. And I've talked enough. And I do want to have 4 of my 6 seniors from that team I want to invite up here. I know we have I'm breaking some rules here, Jim, I'm sorry. But I want to have Amanda come on up, and I want to have Julie come on up, and I want to have Corey DeBeck come on up, and Allie, where's Allie? Allie Moses Edwards, come on up. 4 of our 6 seniors made it. We're missing 2. Katie O'Neill couldn't quite make the trip from Melbourne, Australia. And Allison Epping is in Texas, and so, but we got 4 of them here. And I did want to give these 4 a chance just to say anything they wanted to say, because they were a huge part of this program and what we did. And 3 of these girls, Amanda and Julie and Corey, were here for 5 years. They all decided that 2 of them decided to tear an ACL, and so had to sit out a year. And Corey had a significant back injury, and so she sat out 1 season also. But I think that shows the type of kids they were. Also, there was never any talk about them ever wanting to leave. They said, "We're here. We're going to finish this," and they did it the right way. So I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm going to let them talk a little bit, and we'll see where it goes.
Am I going first? Yep. Okay. Give your speech review.
Okay, well, when Coach asked me to talk, well, first of all, he was like, "Hey, Amanda, would you mind saying something?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, not at all." But these guys are like, "Why would you ask her? She doesn't remember anything." So bear with me. But what I do remember are the things that matter. And the coach was like, you can say anything, but he stole my story about my dad bringing the scissors to Black Hills, so check that off my to-do list to talk about. So this team ended the 2009-2010 season with a 26-7 record. We were 15-1 in the Civic Center and had 6 seniors with a whole slew of injuries. Mitch, he took really good care of us and made sure that we were healthy and ready to play. We had a good group of underclassmen in Jackie, Krista, Paige, and Bridget. And I'm not sure what the statistics are of college athletes that go on to play their sport for their full 4 years of eligibility, but having that many seniors is another thing that made this team special. It ran like a well-oiled machine. Julie, she brought an intensity and speed to our team that made everyone faster and made everyone play better. She'd say things like, "That's your job," and "Do your job," and we did. And we were always glad when volleyball was over, because then Allie could come back. And having Corey and Allie Epping on the post was incredible. To have the 6'2" and 6'1" players that had hands and could move as smooth as they could was incredible. And also having Corey on your team is like having a sister you've never had. So one time we were playing at UND, and these rowdy group of kids came, and this rowdy group of students came and were sitting behind our bench. And this guy would not leave me alone. He was just relentlessly heckling me. And Corey just casually looked down and asked a younger classman, "Hand me a cup of water." And the younger classman brought Corey a glass of water, and she turned around and splashed him right in the face. He zipped it, and they moved. And so it's just pretty amazing having these guys who truly have your back. And Kelly Schooneman, she was our point guard. I don't think Kelly ever missed a free throw. And she shot so many free throws. She would just sacrifice her body and dive in there, and she was unafraid. Our Australian, Katie O'Neill, she was tough and she was well-rounded. And Nicole Allers, she brought joy to every single day. You know what that girl did yesterday? She dressed up in her Jimmie uniform, full-on uniform, shorts, shoes and everything, and she signed autographs as people were coming into her work today or yesterday at the fitness center. So if you want a signed 5x7 of a senior picture, she's got them. One more story about Allers. My name is Amanda Ranapa, and for 3 months she was like, "Hey, why did Coach just call you Amanda?" I was like, "That's my name." And she goes, "I thought your name was Ranny." And I was like, "My name is not Ranny Ranapa. That would be ridiculous." But so much humor and so many laughs. But we had the best following too. We had parents, including mine, who traveled hundreds of miles to watch us play and didn't miss a game. And this team was not only a team on the court, but a family off the court. We did meals, summers, and even holidays together. Most were spent at the Weiss and the Hornings. And Coach Horning even took me to the emergency room one time. We were at Black Hill State, and Kelly and I ran into each other and shoot around, and I needed stitches in my eye. And Coach even drove me to the emergency room and waited for my parents. But our time here at Jamestown prepared us for anything that we decide to do in our life. And because of the University of Jamestown and the basketball program here, we know perseverance, grit, and teamwork. We met our spouses here, our lifelong friends that we go on vacations with and who we can count on for anything. And then playing for the University of Jamestown was a decision that shaped the trajectory of our lives. And I have 2 little girls now, Isla and Elin, and I hope someday that they'll come here and have the same experience as me. Thank you guys. Go Jimmies.
Hi guys, first of all, I just want to thank everybody for all of the support on and off the court. Coach Weiss asked us to speak about a few memories that we have, so I think he's dreading a few of mine, but we'll first start with Valentine's Day. Who remembers Valentine's Day? So we were apparently looking a little sluggish on the court. So he lines us up at the end of the line. I was expecting a butt chewing, but I wasn't expecting this out of his mouth. Maybe your boyfriend shouldn't have given you so much candy. We looked at each other and we're like, what? Second, Dickinson State. Coach Weiss talked about Coach Horning being the backbone and being support, and we were down, I think, half by 20 points. And we knew we were getting a butt chewing, but what we didn't know was Coach Weiss coming in hot, whipping the clipboard at the whiteboard. Pieces go flying, and Coach Horning, I've never seen him move so fast in his entire life, trying to catch all the pieces of that clipboard. So the memories are good. National tournament was amazing. Being there, overwhelming support. I remember when we won our first game, I looked up at my dad and gave him a fist pump. He's been my role model for my entire life. So unfortunately, we couldn't go past that first game, but best part of the memories are that DAC championship at Black Hill State and cutting down that net. So I'll always remember that. But thank you guys. Go Jimmies. When Weiss asked us to come speak for the team, Corey and I and Randy on the side had a little text, and I'm like, so are we going to roast him or what? So we were going to have him sit up here and just go over some things, but we thought we'd just keep it short and sweet and get you guys out of here. I'm glad he spoke of the Escalade, because I almost forgot about the Escalade and all the good times we had with the Escalade, right, ladies? Big car to get people around. I just wanted to touch on, a few things, mostly just that year that we had, and I think that my stubborn Italian heritage kind of came out a lot on the court and off the court and in the locker room, and I was really hard on some of the girls, and I would say, yeah, that's your job. Like, Ranny, shoot the three-pointer, make the three-pointer, that's your job. Corey, catch the ball when I whip it at your face, that's your job, right? Unhitch the plow, you're running way too slow. Just great times all around. So many memories of Coach Weiss, and mostly, when he would blow up on us and get mad. And there was, he had surgery. I can't remember what year he had knee surgery, and he's on crutches at practice. And gosh, he was just so mad. We're in the Hansen Center, and I think it was you running too slow backwards. Too slow. I think it was Randy running too slow backwards, and he throws those crutches down, and he's like, Grandpa, I can run faster than you, and I got a freaking bum knee, and he's running backward with that bum knee. Just so many good memories that we just, thank everybody for the support. We always had, like Amanda said, we always had a crew of people. My pa, the Ranapas traveling all over. Our boyfriends, now husbands then, traveling all over. And we just had a great time, great season, and friends for life now. So I don't, you want to say anything, Allie? Allie's here.
When Coach asked us all if we wanted to talk, they all said yes, and I said, okay, good, that means I don't have to. So thank you all.
We're happy she's here. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, girls. I wasn't always mad. I hope you guys don't have that impression on me. I did have a lot of fun. I loved coaching this group of girls, and lots and lots of great memories. And I did want to give them that chance to speak. So thanks again. I'm really excited to be here. Congratulations, everyone. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody out tonight, and looking to have some more fun. And I know we want to get over and do some tailgating prior to the football game, and so watch the Jimmies and cheer the Jimmies on to victory. So good luck to everybody. Thanks again. Go Jimmies.